Tanse, I'm Chris Gatineau. Welcome to APTN National News. The first ever national gathering for survivors of forced and coerced sterilization is being held in Gatineau this weekend. The event, which started yesterday, is providing an opportunity for survivors to come together, share their stories, and promote collective healing. Our APTN reporter Savannah Craig joins us from the event at the Hotel Lac Limie in Gatineau, Quebec. Savannah, can you tell us what has happened so far?
Hi, Creason. So I'm at the first day of this 3-day event series for survivors of forced and coerced sterilization. This event has been a year in the making, and it's to promote the healing of survivors. I've spoken with a few survivors who've said that they felt very isolated in their experience, which caused delays to the healing process. However, this event allows them to come together, share their experiences, and know that they are not alone. I attended part of the opening ceremony this morning, as it was only partially open to media. However, ahead of the event yesterday, I attended a press conference where I spoke with Dr. Marilyn Cook, who said she was a nurse in the late 70s in northern Manitoba, and she said that she saw instances of coerced sterilization where women were not properly given information before the seizure that they consented to. This weekend is hosting many healing events such as beading, meditation, and fitness activities. And later this afternoon, the event will welcome Senator Yvonne Boyer, who is trying to put forth Bill S-250, which will penalize those responsible for forced or coerced sterilizations. And an update on this bill will be provided later tonight on APTN's evening broadcast.
Thank you, Savannah. That's Savannah at Gatineau, Quebec. Thank you for that report.
Thank you.
There appears to be another deep divide among BC Conservatives. A tweet and video by a high-profile MLA has put party member against party member, with the Conservative leader scrambling to stop his team from fracturing even further. CTV's Rob Buffman has that story.
And we need to address the division within the caucus and get on the same page as a team. And if we cannot do that, then I do not know why I came here and sacrificed my time to be a political representative.
Emotions boiling over amongst BC Conservatives Thursday. House Leader A'alia Warbus visibly emotional in her anger at colleague Dallas Brody.
Her issue is about a word in a Law Society's education programming, and that's what she wants to go marching out to stand for, is abhorrent to me.
This video posted online featuring Brody. In it, Brody reiterating her support for a fellow lawyer, both saying no bodies have been found at the Kamloops residential school.
This is a lawyer who's demanding facts at the heart of the Law Society of British Columbia, a place that's supposed to be dedicated to the quest for truth. This whole thing about my truth and your truth, oh, my truth. This stuff has to stop. It's like, it's got to be the truth.
The issue raised previously online ignited backlash, including from the House Leader, herself Indigenous.
There's a person in our party who's Indigenous, and she, was super angry and went to town and joined the NDP to call me out.
Thursday, Brody didn't choose to add much to the video.
I think my video speaks for itself.
Can you tell us what your thoughts are on it? You said your video speaks for itself?
Yeah.
We're taking it really seriously. For myself, I found the posts, the video, I find it hurtful.
Party leader John Rustad says he hasn't asked Brody to remove the video and won't say if Brody could be kicked out of caucus or disciplined.
I don't support any of our members going out and attacking other of our members because we are a big party.
Rustad trying to balance competing views in what he calls a big tent party.
What went on in residential schools with the fact that 4,000 children didn't come home across Canada is absolutely horrendous. Dallas, when she came out, and she came out with some facts with regards to the burial sites and the fact that nothing had been found on those sites.
That's a circus tent, and he's got to kick the clown out of the tent. And if he doesn't do that, then I think we know exactly what kind of a leader he is.
Rustad is presiding over a growing fracture in his party. Robert Buffum, CTV News, Victoria.
It was a significant day for survivors of federal Indian hospitals, says the representative plaintiff of a class action lawsuit. On Thursday morning, the federal government signed a proposed settlement agreement to compensate class members more than $1 billion for abuse suffered at the segregated health facilities. APTN Sav Jones has a roundup of the agreement entails.
The settlement will provide individual compensation ranging from $10,000 to $200,000 to former patients who suffered abuse at federal Indian hospitals.
This settlement will not erase the pain. It will not bring back what was taken, but it does represent something that was long denied: responsibility.
The amount of compensation varies based on the level of abuse suffered against roughly 100,000 Indigenous survivors. First filed in 2018, the suit was certified a class action in 2020. 3 similar lawsuits were filed in British Columbia, Saskatchewan, and Alberta, but they were all combined under what is now called the Hardy case. From 1936 to 1981, the federal government operated 33 hospitals as tuberculosis treatment centers.
However, they quickly became a tool of segregation. Many Indigenous patients were forced to stay for months or even years, as I heard this morning, enduring mistreatment, neglect, and abuse. For many, these hospitals were the site of some of the most painful and personal experiences of their life. Memories that they rather forget, but they carry with them each and every day.
It took 5 years for the parties to negotiate the proposed settlement. It now awaits approval by the Federal Court of Canada, which will be considered on June 10th to 11th. Indian hospital survivor Anne Cecil Hardy is the court-appointed representative plaintiff. She started the claim because she wanted Canada to finally acknowledge what happened to her and many others.
I was just a child, 10 years old, when I was admitted to the Charles Council Hospital. I was admitted because I had TB and was supposed to be there to heal. But instead, I experienced fear, isolation, and trauma that has stayed with me for decades.
Hardy, who is Métis, says she felt alone while she experienced and witnessed sexual and other abuses against patients while held in the hospital.
I left the hospital physically, emotionally, and psychologically battered. The abuse I suffered and witnessed changed the entire course of my life.
An additional $150 million will go to supporting healing, reconciliation, and commemoration. $235.5 million will go to supporting research, education, and preservation of the facilities. Indigenous Services Canada will also receive $150 million to extend existing mental health supports to class members. Immediate family members of survivors who have passed are also eligible for compensation. Sav Jones, APTN National News, Winnipeg.
On Wednesday afternoon, a groundbreaking ceremony took place on the site of the future Mercury Care Home in Grassy Narrows First Nation in Ontario. The deal to build the facility was made 5 years ago, following decades of activism by members and their supporters. APTN Sarah Bettens was in the community for the ceremony and brings us this report.
In July 2014, former Grassy Narrows Chief and Treaty 3 Grand Chief Steve Fobister went on a hunger strike at Queen's Park in Toronto. He did it to draw attention to the devastating impact of mercury poisoning in his community.
He was a fighter for mercury justice. Despite his health, he went on a hunger strike on Parliament to get attention on behalf of the people.
In October 2018, Fobister died at 66 after a long battle with mercury poisoning complications. But his fight for justice lives on. On Wednesday, members of the Grassy Narrows First Nation and government officials gathered for the groundbreaking ceremony for a future Mercury Care Home in his name. His daughters, Emily and Sherry Fobister, were there to honor his memory.
On behalf of the Fobister family and the people of Gatineau, who my dad worked his life to defend and fight for, we say Chimikwech for honoring my dad by naming the Mercury home after him.
In the 1960s and 70s, the Dryden paper mill dumped about 9 tons of mercury into the English Wabigoon River system, upstream of Grassy Narrows. Today, more than 90% of people in the community experience symptoms of mercury poisoning. The care facility will be home to 22 mercury patients and provide specialized treatment for community members. The federal government has committed $82 million to capital costs and $68.9 million to the operational costs of the care home. At the groundbreaking ceremony, Indigenous Services Minister Patty Haiju acknowledged what it took to get there.
This isn't the benevolence of the federal government sweeping in and saying, we'll do the right thing. This is generations of people fighting for this.
After the ceremony, the community gathered for drumming and a feast. Members, like former chief Raphael Fobister, shared how mercury poisoning has impacted their lives.
Because of mercury, my brain is damaged, but I still remember the old days. I still remember when I helped to develop the mercury, the position paper for the mercury compensation.
In September 2014, thousands rallied in Toronto, demanding member compensation, an end to industrial threats, and mercury remediation in Grassy Narrows. When asked if the federal government plans to compensate members, Haiju said that's Ontario's responsibility.
Actually, there's a Ontario legislation and mercury compensation board that's fully run, and Ontario is responsible for that compensation board. I did tell council and chief today that we would advocate with them that Ontario comes to the table.
Members like Carla Cocopanans spoke about the pain of being disconnected from family who were forced to relocate to urban centers for care.
They often share stories of loneliness and missing their families, friends, and loved ones. I will be happy when we can bring our elders home to be reunited with their families.
The anticipated completion date for the care facility is summer 2027. And when the doors open, some of those relatives will be welcomed home. Sierra Buttons, APTN National News, Grassy Narrows.
Actor Cody Lightning is working on his next big film project, this time in Alberta. That story when we come back. Stay with us. Welcome back. Cree actor, writer, and director Cody Lightning is getting ready to film his latest movie. It's called Smudge the Blades, and until Friday, his team is looking for Edmonton area hockey players to be a part of his film. APTN's Chris Stewart has more.
Oh, my boy. I told you I wasn't even lying. They're making a movie on me. Look. I'm Cody Lightning, Smoke Signals. I was in it. I don't know where I would be without that movie.
Cody Lightning has been starring in, writing, and directing movies since 1993. The 39-year-old released the sequel to his big hit, Smoke Signals, last year, called Hey Victor. And now he's prepping to shoot from March to April in and around Edmonton, nearby Enoch Cree Nation, Wetaskiwin, and Musqueam. The game will be very much a part of the movie, with experienced players and some pros taking part.
Pretty much based off of personal life stories and coaching experiences. It is fictionalized, but from the certain things that I went through, experienced, I kind of spliced some stuff together with my writing partner, Sam Miller, and we wrote an amazing hockey script.
He says it will be both funny and dark, a dramedy, and will feature authentic hockey.
When you really dig deep into these characters that I have in here, you're going to see they have very unique individual backstories that aren't the most beautiful. And so, yeah, we're going to hit you with some gut-wrenching laughs and some really heartfelt, throat-clenching tears as well.
And if you are between 18 and 25 and near Edmonton, until Friday, you can contact his people to maybe get a shot to be in the movie. But he says you have to be filthy at hockey. He says there have been 4,000 submissions so far.
But you can reach out to smudgetheblades@gmail.com or look at our social media pages on Facebook and Instagram. You just have to be a really deadly hockey player.
He hopes to have the movie ready for award nominations in early 2026. Chris Stewart, APTN National News, Edmonton.
Two women who have played a significant role in shaping APTN were honored with a prestigious award for their essential work in preserving Indigenous stories nationwide. Senator Andrew Cardozo represented King Charles III coronation medals to them recently. On February 28th, the Senate of Canada recognized APTN CEO Monica Ille. Ille has served as CEO of APTN since December of 2019 and has been dedicated to ensuring Indigenous representation, languages, and stories that are prominent in media across Turtle Island. APTN's Vice Chair Jennifer David also received a coronation medal for her pivotal role in founding APTN as the first Director of Communications, as well as her continued work in Truth and Reconciliation. The medals honor individuals who have made significant contributions to Canada or achieved exceptional successes internationally. We now want to tell you about this week's web poll questions. Over on our website, we ask, do you think a review of the Nutrition North Canada program by the federal government will lead to changes with the Northern Food Subsidy program? Your answers are yes, no, or scrap it and start over. Our second question we ask, should Arctic sovereignty be high on the next federal government's list of priorities? You can answer yes, no, or unsure. And our third question we ask, should NHL fans in Canada continue to boo the U.S. national anthem at hockey games? This is in relation to President Trump's tariffs against Canada. Your answers are yes, no, or unsure. Have your say at www.aptnnews.ca, and we will post the results early next week. Anishinaabe artist Emily Kiwagishig from Saugeen First Nation in Ontario is up next to tell us about some of her latest work she is working on. We'll be right back. Starting on the East St. John 7, Charlottetown 8. Cartwright 3, Happy Valley Goose Bay -2 in rain. Gaspé 0, Saguenay -8. Ottawa -1, Sarnia -3. Sudbury -4, Thunder Bay -9. Puckatawagan -12, God's Lake -15. Gimli -14, Brandon -11. Swift Current -1, Yorkton partly cloudy and -8. Buffalo Narrows -4, La Ronge -2. 6 in Grand Prairie, Fort McMurray 5. 11 in Calgary, Red Deer 8. Kamloops 13, Bella Coola 10. 2 in Fort Nelson, Dease Lake 4. -19 in Old Crow and Sun, Rock River -18. -10 in Fort Simpson, Watee -20. Fort McPherson -20, Inuvik -16. Arviat -20, Whale Cove -21. And Arctic Bay -25, Aglulik -19. Thanks for staying with us. Our next guest is Emily Kiwagishig, an Anishinaabe artist and visual storyteller from Saugeen First Nation located northwest of Toronto. Through her art, Emily shares themes of birth, death, and rebirth that are connected in both her cultural teachings and personal lived experiences. In 2020, she had her first solo exhibition at the Tom Thompson Art Gallery in Owen Sound, Ontario, and has been keeping busy creating beautiful works of art and murals for various organizations to put a spotlight on Indigenous knowledge and culture. In 2017, she graduated from Sheridan College's Visual and Creative Arts Diploma program with honors. Emily received the Best in Show award during her final graduate exhibition. She also attended the Ontario College of Art and Design University from 2017 to 2020. Here's that interview. Emily, thank you so much for speaking with us today. Can you tell us what got you first interested in art and how long have you been an artist?
Ani, it's nice to speak with you today. I've always had a natural talent for drawing, and when I was in high school, I started painting, and I really haven't looked back since then. I just really believe that Creator gives each and every one of us a natural gift that we can get us through life, and I'm lucky that I figured out mine at such a young age.
No, that's great. And when you're making your next art piece, can you Tell us what your thought process is and what goes through your mind.
Well, when I start a new art piece, I consider so many different things, such as what message I want to tell, what story I want to tell, and what feelings do I want to invoke. So drawing and painting becomes sort of a meditative process for me.
Nice. And you have shown your work at exhibits, and you have a website where you sell your work, and you've been doing much bigger pieces like murals. Did you ever think your art career would grow to what it is today?
Honestly, no, I didn't think that it would have gotten so big. Like when I first started, it was a hobby. It was something that I loved to do, and I just kept doing it. And I've already exceeded all expectations that I had set for myself when I first started.
Can you walk me through what were some of the murals you've done recently and how that came to be?
Yeah, I've done a few pretty big murals in the Toronto area, and the one is about 40 feet wide. And so that was a big task. It took me a few weeks to complete, and yeah, it's really hard work, and it takes a lot to learn how to do this. But I'm really proud that I've been able to accomplish these big jobs and continue doing so. I have quite a bit booked for the new year, so I'm looking forward to that.
Right on. And can you tell us who inspired you to follow this life path in art, and also what Indigenous artists do you look up to?
Well, honestly, like I've had this dream since I was a little girl, and I really want to honor that little girl in me and follow that dream. So I always try and inspire myself and think about my journey and how far I've come. Of course, I'm inspired by the great artists before me. My personal favorite is Daphne. She's one of the original woodland style artists, and you know, you can never leave out Norval Morrisseau. He's just you know, the most iconic for a reason. There's good messages behind his work and a lot of cultural teachings to take away from that.
I absolutely love Daphne and Norval's work as well. That's great. Finally, Emily, what is your message to our young and up and coming Indigenous artists who look up to you, and what are some words of advice do you have for them?
My advice for young people is to believe in yourself, have courage, use your voice, put yourself out there. Creator only puts things in front of us that we can handle, and you only have one life, so you might as well spend it doing the one thing that you love, and for me, that's painting and drawing.
And Emily, can you tell us what's next in your art career so far? What are some of the big projects that you're working on?
I actually have my second solo exhibition opening this weekend at the Midland Cultural Center. The show is called Anjiba Madazing, A Change of Life, and it opens March 8th and runs until May 31st.
Ooh, definitely. Shout out to all the people out in that area. Definitely go check that out. Emily, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much for speaking with us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And that's your daytime newscast for this Friday, March 7th. Dennis Ward is back for your evening newscast in a few hours. Make sure to join us then. From all of us at APTN National News Daytime, thank you for watching, and we'll be back again next Monday. Have a safe weekend with family. XD.